whether or not we would have constant supply of it, because we understand that the water level in the Akosombo Dam remains dangerously low, a situation which could force a shutdown and in fact worsen Ghana's erratic power supply. Despite a flood-causing rainy season, the operating system level as of Tuesday was 4 feet above the minimum water level, and engineers are worried any drop below the figure will lead to a shutdown. But Chief Executive Officer of Volta River Authority, Isaac Kofi, confirmed to Joy News and said measures have been taken by government to ensure the dam is not shut down. He, however, describes the current situation as dire. On the other hand, Minister of Energy, Emmanuel, has called for prayers to save the situation. Some level of water in the dam has been a trend at least for the past 2 years as the dam struggles to meet the minimum operating water level pegged at 240 feet. The Minister of Energy, Emmanuel has had cause to call for prayers to save the situation. The Akosombo Hydro Generating Station, the largest hydro installation in the country, generates 1,020 megawatts of power. Each of the installations 6 turbines generates 170 megawatts of electricity. Ghana gets 55% of its power from hydro and 44.4% from thermal. A fall in contribution from hydro only portends another wave of energy rationing. The news of a shutdown comes as excitement builds ahead of the arrival of Ghana's energy savior gas. The cheap substance is expected to arrive by September, and that's according to the Ghana Gas Company. Well, government also believes a recent agreement with the United States for the release of over $450 million under the Millennium Challenge Compact 2 will help address the challenges in the energy sector. And we have some conditions to meet before we get to that. So let's put that off the table and look at what we have at hand, the Ghana Gas project coming alive in September and how it could help us. But John Peter Amewu is in charge of research and policy at the Africa Center of Energy Policy. Thank you very much, John, for joining us here.
Yeah, thank you and good morning to your listeners.
Absolutely. John, we are faced with an imminent shutdown of Ghana's biggest generator of power, which is the Akosombo Dam. I'm sure you are not surprised by this, but the VRA is hopeful and very hopeful that indeed measures could be put in place to save the situation. What do you see?
Well, this is not surprising at all. You refer that the regulatory dam which we have, the B dam some time ago was operated far beyond its limits.
Right. When
we were constrained as a result of the gas supply from Nigeria, which brought us to an era of darkness. Now, it is important to realize that the upper dams feed directly into the lower dam. And the 5-year cycle of the dam in terms of its water level, it's exactly this year, you know. What I mean by that is that every 5 years, you will notice that we do experience drastic shortfalls in the water level as a result of, you know, weather conditions and other unexplained conditions. And what worsens the situation now is the fact that the upper dam is also open, and that same dams feed into the lower dams, which I call the Ball Dam or the Akosombo Dam. the current shortfall, of course, is expected, and until we have excessive, inflows beyond the lower dam, this thing is going to continue. There are other developments, up the Gui Dam in terms of what we are witnessing from our neighboring country. They are also building dams and capturing water for irrigation activities. So that again is going to limit the inflow of water to the lower dam. Now, what this is going to do to us, again, is the fact that the hydro, which is the least component of cost in the cost build-up of our tariff, if there's going to be a shortfall in that hydro, we will need to supplement it with more expensive generation capacities such as the light crude or the gas, which is fortunately to come on board. So we should be expecting an incremental jump in our tariff because our pricing system is based on an average price system where all the components are lumped together and sum up to give us the average. It's not based on a marginal cost where you move up based on your generation. So we should be expecting an increase in tariff as a result of the shortfall.
Right, John. We'll get into detail how this could affect us. But for the man on the street, the fact that the Meteo has told us that indeed we will experience, and in fact we are experiencing more rain this year than any other year in recent past. And then we hear that our Akosombo level, the water in our Akosombo Dam alone has not seen any improvement. It generates a lot of confusion. How do we explain that?
Yes, the water we see around our environment is not necessarily the water that feeds into the Akosombo Dam. If you see a lot of rainfalls in the southern part of this country, around Akosombo itself, the impact in terms of the rise in the water level is going to be very insignificant. I see. For a lot of feeding, we expect excessive rainfall, up section of the Akosombo Dam. That is the northern part of this country. That is the only way you can expect increase in the water level.
Let me just have you hold the line for a bit. We're just going to host this conversation over the next few minutes.